As we stated previously, the sounds coming in from the States were iconic, influenced by the electronic sounds from Germany's Kraftwerk. The States were creating early forms of what we know as hip-hop and electronic influences. Producers in the UK were inspired by the sound, and the US would influence the direction of our UK sound. The US were pioneering their new sound in music. Besides house and techno, there was underground sound called hip-hop. Starting in the Bronx, New York in the late 70s, DJs such as Kool Herc realized that the house parties, when playing soul and funk tracks to the crowd, the energy will peak up in the dance at the drum break solo. So DJs and artists started putting and extending the breaks more to the forefront, which would pathway to the new sounds. This would go through a transformation of styles. This includes the inclusion of the mic men, later known as rappers. By 1988, the styles had changed and gangster rap started to come to the forefront. I can't go into depth regarding hip-hop in this episode, that will be for a future episode, but note that this genre is an important factor in our UK sound. With hip-hop taking off in the States, here in the UK, a new sound started to evolve. During this period, starting from Bristol, there were sound system parties. As we know, back in episode 5.1 or 5.2, Bristol has a big Caribbean community and Jamaican connection, especially within the St. Paul's area and vicinities around. Hip-hop's connection is rooted from Jamaican toasting and DJing, and the sound system provided the party music in public spaces, which were often in deprived areas. Bristol music at these parties ranged from rare groove and soul to reggae and dub, then finally to house and to hip-hop. Bristol sound systems played hip-hop more at a slow tempo. The Wild Bunch crew, a legendary Bristol sound system, put their local spin on that form of the down tempo, creating the Bristol sound. 3D, Tricky, Mushroom, and Daddy G formed Massive Attack. Using hip-hop samples and boom-bap beats at slow tempo became fundamental in the creation of trip-hop. Combined with the 1985 graffiti art exhibition allowed the Bristol artists to demonstrate their graffiti art. Overall, Bristol was taking major influences from New York culture. Members of the Wild Bunch would form the band Massive Attack. Influences of rap, punk and soul with many others fused together. More can be spoken about this, the groups and the trip-hop genre, but that will be for a different episode. But keep in mind, during the 80s this genre formed and is a part of a musical journey rooted from American hip-hop. By the 90s, against the backdrop of the UK rave scene, producers were experimenting more. By this time, we were having amazing artists releasing music inspired from the rave scene. The more experimentation in sound was important, and the sampling of sounds. Warp Records, as spoken about previously, were inspired originally by Detroit's techno sound, and would later then push the UK electronic sounds of bleep and bass. And by the 90s would release an important compilation album called Artificial Intelligence. The tracks are unique, more experimental, electronic, abstract sounds. It would feature several artists such as Autica, Dr. Alex Patterson, and the Dice Man, also known as Aphex Twin, and many more. This album is considered the reason for birthing the term IDM, Intelligent Dance Music. Another EP that should be considered is the Black Dog Productions EP. The electronic group also started to push out the chilled out experimental style of techno. you would have clocked, some tracks would have had a slow down tempo, which feels similar to a trip-hop sound, but with more electronica and breaks, while others had more of a dark techno feel and forms of glitches. Then there were others that had more ambience. Ambience in the sound was becoming more predominant in the rave music scene. Ambient sounds and experimentation goes way back, like we saw early on in the series. The electronic instrument creating that synth choir sound by German composers used in the movie Agir, The Wrath of God, creating that ethereal sound and atmosphere. Brian Eno, Ambient One music for airports. But within the 90s rave scene, this brought back new elements to the music. In 1992, an artist would release an important album displaying the experimental and atmospheric pieces of music, taking elements of minimal techno, acid and electronic sounds. Richard David James, aka Aphex Twin, and his sound influenced many musicians and would create a series of albums that would be considered masterpieces of musical art. Ranges a wide spectrum of ambient and down tempo. You have the elements of breaks, elements of acid, elements of minimal techno, and many others. Always hear forms of breaks, glitches, and some form of down tempo or atmosphere within IDM. Aphex Twin, I Care Because You Do, musical style and experimentation would have the genre categorized into the genre known as intelligent dance music, and therefore would loop other artists within that label. I truly recommend you check out the work of these artists, and also the work of Aphex Twin. His many albums, work and experimentation has influenced my musical sound and many other musical artists. Others still focused on nostalgia, down-tempo and future-forward sounds. The Scottish group Boards of Canada debut release on Warp Records, Music Has the Right to Children, is considered an iconic and influential album by the IDM community. The experimentation and real use of analog synth and field recordings of the Scottish country, besides just using the DAW, brings forms of escapism, creative sampling, trying to bring a sense of nostalgia. This style will correlate different styles of intelligent music into different genres, such as one of my favorites in the style of intelligent drum and bass. regards to IDM, artists at times use forms of jungle drum breaks in their tracks, such as the plug. Square Pusher and others created a derivative of IDM, jungle breaks and breakcore called drill and bass. As we know, Labyrinth was considered an important club of the times. Joe Choric's event at the Four Aces was vital in pushing the jungle sound, and also allowing the Prodigy to hype up the place in their live performance. The music and artists were leading to different paths at this time, especially with experimentation. As we know from the Root to Jungle episode, the foundation drum break was based on the Amen break by the drummer Gregory G.C. Coleman. It was a drum break within a song Amen Brother by the Winstons. A drum break is a short segment in a piece of music, like a stop time, where the drummer break plays the beat, usually solo, which is different from the rest of the song, also known as the song's break part. During the early 90s, we know British producers started mixing and blending the house and techno with the hip-hop breaks, which would later become a form of hardcore breakbeat. Besides the Amen break, you had many others. Some of the old school heads, junglists, and musicians would know them. The importance of this is that producers would use samplers to find ways to chop up the breaks and make it sound different and unique each time. Listen to the different types of Amen breaks. Using samples of breaks, you can also sample synths, melodies, and vocals into tracks.
gives a damn?
Here, I'll go get the nurse.
Who's collected over 500 different packets of crisps, and he's here alongside Alice Beer.
And there's all these like colourful packets with monsters on or aliens and crazy flavours. They're just a bit more interesting than potatoes and carrots.
You had a premiere last night, didn't you?
It smells as though he's sprayed something on though. What flavour's that?
That's mess.
Jump, rewind for your mind. Jump in from the top to the right. Jump, rewind for your mind. What's the cat? You see? I'm talking who's sampling. Stop playing.
Sampling transformed the way of music around the world, moving them into different paths. Before the technology for samplers, all music was reinterpreting ideas that had come from previous generations and cultures. Sampling is a tool, so is imitation and inspiration, which always leads the way that music evolves. And this was vital within our UK sound. Thus, sampling was also important within Big Beat. During the late 80s, two friends met at the Uni of Manchester, Tom Rowland and Ed Simmons, sharing their love for the rave scene and clubs like Hacienda at the time of the late 80s. The two would later pair up and DJ in the back of a pub, playing a range of hip-hop, techno and house music. They would later form the name for themselves as the Dust Brothers. The Dust Brothers originally is an American production duo that was skilled in the sampling game, producing the tracks of the Beastie Boys album, Paul's Boutique. Tom and Ed first took the name The Dust Brothers in 1992 as homage to the Dust Brothers and their work on Paul's Boutique, thinking at the time that they wouldn't even be big in the future. Influenced by the American duo style, they would also create their own tracks. Heavy break samples and included electronic sounds and experimentation inspired by their raving days. Rowland and Simmons were given residency in a small pub called the Albany, the evening run by Heavenly Records, and called it the Sunday Social. Noel Gallagher from Oasis, Paul Weller, James Dean Bradfield from Manic Street Preachers, and Tim Burgess from the Charlatans, who were all regular visitors. This also included them bumping into DJ Norman Cook, also known as FatBoy Slim. FatBoy Slim before used to be involved with Beats International, playing bass for the band. He had a house alter ego, Pizza Man. But he was not only a DJ, but a talented remixer as well, in cutting samples.
Starts here.
Alongside the Sunday Social in London, in the mid-90s in Brighton, there was a Brighton club called the Big Beat Boutique. The music became similar to the Heavenly Social event party, and we'll play this in the Brighton Concord Club. Vice versa, would both play at each other's clubs, forging this new sound. It's amazing to think similarity of house coming from the Warehouse nightclub, garage coming from Paradise Garage, and therefore Big Beat coming from the Big Beat Boutique in Brighton. They started producing dance tracks filled with rock-style verse, chorus and verse flows, breakbeat samples, and the builds and drops, a format similar to house music. The Dust Brothers in the UK were getting attention, which then received legal issues with the US Dust Brothers duo due to the name, hence Exit Planet Dust album.
B-boy.
Back with another one of those block rockin' beats.
London label Wall of Sound started to have artists doing the big beat sounds.
Take California.
Brighton's Skint Records and Heavenly Records were at the centre of the revolution, having artists creating this new sound. Big Beat had the use of funk and guitars, which was more palatable to music magazines like NME.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother.
The Prodigy, same as the Chemical Brothers, came from the rave scene. The Prodigy, fat of the land, bringing electronic alternative dance music to the States. They brought that punk approach, shifting the feel-good elements in comparison to the Chemical Brothers. More rebellious, more raging elements, more controversial.
Psychosomatic, addict, insane. Breathe the pressure. Come play my game, I'll test ya. Psycho, somatic, addict, insane. Inhale, inhale, you're addicted. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Smack my bitch up.
This is the essence of Big Beat. Samples from many genres creating a unique sound. Harsh, fast-paced, riot, and punk. A fusion of sounds. The Prodigy would dominate the US, Russia, and others, having many fans of the hardcore ravers and rock and punkhead scene. the millennium, the big beat buzz started to decline from mainstream popularity. Big beat would defy the late 90s in becoming iconic of the scenes across the globe. Part less talked about, but a well-respected part of our UK sound. But with that, artists and fans are still influenced by the trip-hop, the IDM, and big beat sounds, which you can still hear till this day. Always bear in mind, using and arranging cut samples is as skillful as writing your own musical piece. These days, authorities seem to punish your creativity unless you're backed by big labels. Understandably, it is also to hold to others making big money from sampled originals, while the original artists get nothing. But the evolution of music will not move forward without sampling. It is a way of making music, taking the new context from old. From the Jamaican artists that were sampling, from the hip-hop producers that were sampling, to the British rave producers as well. Sampling will continue in the future until certain gatekeepers won't allow it anymore, and is an important part in the creation of our UK sound.